The first elegy. Who, if I cried, would hear me among the angelic orders? And even if one of them suddenly pressed me against his heart, I should fade in the strength of his stronger existence. For beauty's nothing but beginning of terror we're still just able to bear. And why we adore it so is because it serenely disdains to destroy us. Every angel is terrible. And so I repress myself and swallow the call note of depth, dark sobbing. Alas, who is there we can make use of? Not angels, not men, and even the noticing beasts are aware that we don't feel very securely at home in this interpreted world. There remains perhaps some tree on a slope to be looked at day after day. There remains for us yesterday's walk and the long-drawn loyalty of a habit that liked us and stayed and never gave notice. Oh, and there's night. There's night, when wind full of cosmic space feeds on our faces. For whom would she not remain, longed for, mild disenchantress, painfully there for the lonely heart to achieve? Is she lighter for lovers? Alas, with each other they only conceal their lot. Don't you know yet? Fling the emptiness out of your arms to broaden the spaces we breathe. Maybe that the birds will feel the extended air in more fervent flight. Yes, the springs had need of you. Many a star was waiting for you to perceive it. Many a wave would rise in the past towards you, or else perhaps, as you went by an open window, a violin would be giving itself, utterly giving itself. All this was commission. But were you equal to it? Were you not still distraught by expectancy, as though all were announcing some beloved's approach? As if you could hope to house her, with all those great strange thoughts going in and out and often staying overnight. Should you be longing, though, sing the great lovers. The fame of all they can feel is far from immortal enough. Those you envied them almost, those forsaken you found so far beyond the requited and loving, begin ever anew their never attainable praise. Consider. The hero continues, even his setting was a pretext for further existence and ultimate birth. But lovers are taken back by exhausted nature into herself as though such creative force could not be exerted twice. Does Gaspara Stampa mean enough to you yet that any girl whose beloved has slipped away might feel from that far intenser example of loving, could I but become like her? Should not these oldest sufferings be finally growing fruitfuler for us? Is it not time that in loving we freed ourselves from the loved one and quivering endured? As the arrow endures the string, to become in the gathering outleap something more than itself, for staying is nowhere. Voices, voices, hearken, my heart, as only saints once hearkened, so that the giant call lifted them off the ground. They, though impossibles, went on kneeling and paid no heed. Such was their hearkening, not that you could bear God's voice by a long way, but hark to the suspiration, the uninterrupted news that grows out of silence, rustling toward you now from those youthfully dead. Whenever you entered a church in Rome or in Naples, were you not always being quietly addressed by their fate? or else an inscription sublimely imposed itself on you, as lately the tablet in Santa Maria Formosa. What they require of me, that I should gently remove the appearance of suffered injustice that hinders a little at times their purely proceeding spirits. True, it is strange to inhabit the earth no longer, to use no longer customs scarcely acquired, not to interpret roses and other things that promise so much in terms of a human future, to be no longer all that one used to be in endlessly anxious hands, and to lay aside even one's proper name like a broken toy. Strange not to go on wishing one's wishes. Strange to see all that was once relation so loosely fluttering hither and thither in space. And it's hard being dead and full of retrieving before one begins to perceive a little eternity. All of the living, though, make the mistake of drawing too sharp distinctions. Angels, it's said, would often be unable to tell whether they moved among living or dead. The eternal torrent whirls all the ages through either realm forever and sounds above their voices in both. They finally no more need of us, the early departed, ones gently weaned from terrestrial things as one mildly outgrows the breasts of a mother. But we that have need of such mighty secrets, we for whom sorrow's so often source of blessedest progress, could we exist without them? Is the story in vain how once in the morning for Linos, venturing earliest music pierced barren numbness, and how in the startled space an almost deified youth suddenly quitted forever emptiness first felt the vibration that now lifts us and comforts and helps?